I was scared about losing connections with people, about being in a place where I didn't know the language, where I didn't know anybody. And we're talking about traveling full time. It's not like going on a vacation and then coming home again. It's being in a new place over and over and over again. And I wasn't going to have that community. I wasn't going to have that sense of belonging. I wasn't going to have any friends. I was going to have, you to talk to, but that was about it. And that was my biggest fear when we first started traveling full time.
Yeah, being lonely and isolated and not being able to communicate.
Yeah.
And not have community to be able to reach out and get over feeling isolated and not being able to communicate.
Right. So this is our third video in a 3-part series. The first video was about how you can be in perfect weather, how you can escape that winter in the United States,
Shoveling.
and how you can always enjoy great weather every month of the year. And we laid out an itinerary of some fabulous places that we've been to every month of the year in our slow travels.
A little calendar girl approach to the best place each month.
In our second video.
Right, we talked about how to make that all affordable and how to actually get to the different places. We gave you 5 great travel hacks for how to get around the world on a budget. For us, that's $50,000 a year. But it doesn't matter what your budget is. These hacks work in any range of money. So I gave you 5 great hacks to do it and gave you our actual itinerary that we have done on this particular budget of $50,000 a year and staying in 72 degrees. So now this video, we're going to actually talk about living in a location for a month. At the end, we're going to use Buenos Aires, Argentina, as our example for all the things we're going to tell you about. But this video is how to find community, how to find friends, how to build your network as you travel around the world. And even though Steve and I are madly in love and we see each other 365, 24/7, honestly, Steve can't give me everything I need and I can't give him everything he needs. And sometimes we want to talk to other people. This is how you find those people.
So we've got a few strategies. So what's one of the first strategies that we use, or hacks that we use, in order to build a community?
Right. Well, when we get ready to go to a new location, of course, we have to figure out where we're going to live. Cities are big. Communities are big. There's good areas and there's other areas that maybe you shouldn't be living in, or it wouldn't be a great place for you. Or maybe you want to be near a bus line or near a grocery store. Google will help you figure that out. But what really helps you figure it out is other people who live there. So the first thing we'll do is we'll go right on Facebook. We'll get engaged in either the expat group in a local location. So like expats in Split, Croatia, or expats in Fethiye, Turkey. And then we'll also reach out into our own Facebook group, our Nomad Life Facebook group, and we'll ask people, where have you stayed? Does anybody have a good location? Is there a good Airbnb someone can recommend? And look for suggestions or not suggestions of where to stay. So that's a really powerful way to start building connections, because if you're going to be in the same neighborhoods with people, chances are you can get together with those people.
Yeah, so let's slow down a little bit. So I'm Steve, and this is Chris, and we're EatwalkLearn. And our EatwalkLearn Facebook page is an incredible resource. And it's one of the big reasons that we started that page many years ago, is to build that community and build that network of people that are kind of like-minded, that are also doing the same kinds of things that we're doing.
Do you know our group is almost 5 years old?
5 years.
Yeah, 5 years old. We're one of the first groups out there in the Nomad space.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we invite you to, follow the link below and join us on our Facebook group so you can continue this conversation and help each other build community as you travel around the world.
So anyway, so we use those resources to figure out where we're going to live. That's the first way that we use some resources to start building community. Now, even before we get there or as we arrive, we start looking for things to do. Now, we build off the things that we already like to do. So you guys know we like to hike. Well, we also like to play disc golf, and we like to play pickleball, and we like to do urban sketching, and we like to, we know there's a lot of people that follow us that are beer drinkers and wine drinkers, and just all these different habits and hobbies that we've had in the past. We try to recreate those as we arrive in a new town.
So one of the things we've done in the past year is we've done a lot of cycling.
Oh, yeah.
And this is something that I love doing when we lived back in the U.S. and lived in Denver. It's different, right? So cycling around the world is not going to be like the Saturday morning ride that I used to take in Denver, Colorado. But it's exciting and adventurous. And we found opportunities to do cycling in Spain and in Riga, Latvia, and in France.
Yeah.
Lots of places around the world where cycling is a
big deal.
Big deal.
Yeah.
We're currently trying to plan a trip in Amsterdam. Talk about like the cycling, I don't know, capital of the world or something
Europe,
like
yeah.
that. But I'm really excited about that. And I think the idea is whatever you're into, whatever you like, you can have that excitement and adventure around the world, but still have that kind of comfort and do the things that you like doing.
Yeah, and the familiarity of it. And the way you find those things are the same way you find them at home. You use the web, you use the internet, you use Facebook. You go to the local bike shop and you ask them what's going on in the bike community in the bike shop. You go to the events section on Facebook, or you go into meetup.com and you look for people or meetups that are happening around the theme that you're interested in. So yes, we are recreating our space in Denver, right? And so people might ask, well, why are we traveling the world if you're just recreating what you were doing in Denver?
Yeah, because I want to go cycling in Amsterdam in tulip season.
Right, and even though we may be urban sketching, like maybe we urban sketched in Denver and now we're doing it in Santiago, Chile, it's different. We're with different people, it's a different environment, it's different buildings. We're drinking something different, we're eating something different, and often, we're speaking a different language. For me, I speak Spanish, so I'm often speaking Spanish with people. Steve's learning Spanish. We always try to pick up at least 10 or 15 phrases in a location that helps open the door to getting to know people. And then, lucky for us, there's a lot of English around the world too, so we're able to tap into the English speakers.
I mean, it's amazing, again, back to my fear of not being able to communicate, not being able to really kind of fit in a community. Building a little bit of language skills, it not only does that, and it's been great for me to be able to connect with people, and they really appreciate when you at least attempt to speak their language. But it also is, my 64-year-old brain needs that extra stimulus, and attempting to learn a new language is a lot of fun.
Okay, so remember when we were in, we always go back to Split, one of our favorite places. Remember when we were in Split and we signed up for that salsa class?
We did. In Split, Croatia,
Yeah.
We took a 2 days a week for 5 weeks learning salsa with all locals. But the instructor was from Cuba. So he was a Cuban salsa dancer, mostly speaking Spanish because he didn't know Croatian very well and didn't know English very well. That was
But married to a Croatian who spoke English
who was a partner.
and Croatian, obviously. And we had this trilingual class that, the first day we showed up, all the locals are like, who the hell are these guys and why are they in our class? And it took a little while for them to warm up to us and break that, because there's this invisible barrier with the local community as we travel that unless it's the service industry, it's really hard to get past that invisible barrier.
Yeah.
And that's the loneliness that we talk about. It's nice to talk to the expat community. It's nice to speak to the English speakers, but there are things you can even do in the local language community that you may not have the language skills for, but the interaction will build that community for you. So like when we were in Aruba, we went and put in a forest, an urban forest in the local school. We ended up meeting the Department of Agriculture secretary. We got invited to people's houses. And I mean, there was some English there, but actually most of them were speaking Dutch, believe it or not. They're all speaking Dutch or the local Aruban, local language in Aruba. So English was not the primary language there. And then in Mexico, when we were in the after school place, we met all kinds of locals and started understanding what the after school situation was there and how school and poverty and education kind of all work together. So it was another way for us to build community, not have to spend, our entire entertainment budget and our communication budget with each other, which is fine. Love you, honey.
Yeah, and, it has happened. There have been places that we've been to where nobody speaks any English and any attempt to speak their language. I'm thinking about Japan.
Oh, yeah.
Was really a challenge, and I am really thankful that we had each other to rely on and to be able to kind of work on the language barrier together. Because we've been to a lot of places where people speak English, and I'm surprised. It's like, oh, you're speaking English better than I do, but.
Yeah, but I don't think the message I want to send to our viewers here is that the world speaks English. It does, mostly, but relying on English to build community is not the only way that you can build community. That's the message I want to send. There are ways to get into the community. Again, go into those Facebook groups, go in, look for events that are welcoming, that maybe don't necessarily require your language skills. Maybe you volunteer at a 10K and you're just handing out bibs. That doesn't require a lot of language skills. Things like that can get the door open, get you through that invisible barrier of the local community, and get you engaged in a way that you can't get engaged otherwise.
Yeah, and when you have a network of also like full-time travelers, of people that are like-minded and doing the same thing that you're doing. And I'm thinking about Buenos Aires.
Yeah,
we
wow.
were there for a month, and halfway through,
what a month!
I'm like, I got too much social time.
I need a break, honey.
I'm an introvert.
Yeah, so we had actually gotten on a repositioning cruise in Lisbon. Jumped on the ship, found out that before we got on the ship, we found out that there were 16 of us that were from our Nomad Life group. And we all met each other. We knew about half of them we knew from other continents that we'd met them on. And the other half were brand new people. We got on the ship, got to know each other, hung out on the ship sometimes not. We all kind of did our own thing and melded. And then when we got to Buenos Aires, there was another 45 people in Buenos Aires that were coming in and out. We developed a WhatsApp or a Facebook chat. And in the chat, we all communicated, what's happening? I'm going here, I'm going there. This is how I got the bus pass. This is how there's a salsa dance happening over here, whatever. We all, or tango, that's salsa. We all interacted through that group, and were able to have a super rich month in Buenos Aires.
What an amazing, and building lifelong friends.
Yeah.
Building friendships and building connections with people that are going to last us
a long time. I mean, for example, we met a new couple this past month, and some tough things are happening right now in the world that I knew was affecting one of them. So I actually reached out to her this morning. I mean, we've only known each other 2 or 3 weeks. I reached out in chat today. I said, hey, how are you doing? Because that thing was affecting her. And she's like, oh my God, I am so thankful you reached out to me. Just this little 2 seconds of texting, big hug hearts back to each other. She felt connected. She felt she had a community. And now we're off into building another great friendship with another group, another couple, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So, in Buenos Aires, we did bowling, we did bike riding, we did tango classes. We went to, we didn't go, but other people went to the horse races. We went to paddle boarding. We went beer drinking. We went walking through the community. We went nature walking. We went photo taking. It was a busy month. Anyway, the point we're making is, if you are traveling, or you're a world traveler, or you're a nomad, or even if you're a digital nomad, if you're someone who's thinking about this lifestyle, you don't have to be lonely. It is really your choice if you decide you want to be lonely.
Yeah. My fears have been completely erased. I enjoy every day of this full-time travel, and.
Just to real honesty, sometimes we don't get along, and sometimes we've made some mistakes. We've got a video up here about relationship challenges as a couple when we're traveling. You solo travelers probably don't have these particular issues, but if you are a couple and you're worried about how you're going to spend 24/7, 365 with each other, take a look at our video. All right, that's the end of our series. Hope we've helped you figure out how to travel the world full-time, stay in great locations, still love each other at the end of it, and only spend $50,000. Let us know what you think. Make some comments below. Please remember to subscribe, and we will see you next week.
Ciao.